starting at the stage of innovation. This is where most of the tech world starts, and it's because people have proximity to it. For instance, if you know what FlexPod is because you live across the street or you drive here, or let's say the incubator at UMC KC because dad or mom is a professor on the staff and you end up in a pizza pop-up, you know, and didn't know where you were. When you have an idea, you know where to go. There's a population of people that don't even know where to start as it relates to where do I go. And so if you come in at the innovation here, it's a little bit easier to go from here to the entrepreneur, the company. You know, I have an idea, I want to solve a problem, and now I'm going to commercialize that and start selling it, and then I'm looking for either market, customers, or capital access. And then wealth and job creation happens here. If you're serving socially disadvantaged communities, it starts earlier. And just for context, this comes out of the guide that Dell and I created between the Federal Reserve Bank and Opportunity Hub on building inclusive entrepreneurship ecosystems in communities of color. To be very candid, what works in white spaces doesn't always work in black and brown spaces. And I think a lot of times we try to take the models here and make it work here. And it crumbles because there's no foundation by which those who have been socially disenfranchised from the innovation economy don't have a platform to build upon. Now, you will always have outliers like myself and some of the folks that I know in this room who have outliers. And I think a lot of times we settle for the outlier effect because it looks very good in Photoshop, it looks very good in our annual reports, it looks very good on paper, but we will not solve for our country's racial wealth gap and, you know, kind of impending, like, today we have the haves and have-nots. We are moving towards the have and have-nevers, right? And so we have to get out of this outlier amplification and it creates some density. So it starts with early exposure and socialization. A lot of this is going to start K-12. You know, this is going to start at home, and there's a lot of conversations of when the conversation around STEM and STEAM. I know we argue about those acronyms. You're dealing with a group and population. The average American, white, black, you name it, doesn't know what the acronym STEM and STEAM means because no one goes to apply for an entry-level STEM job. They don't go to apply for a, you know, part-time STEAM role. So our acronyms are not aligning, you know, with industry opportunities. But after someone is exposed and socialized, then you have to give them the education and skills. Unfortunately, because of how our higher education system is built, there's no way that our nation will meet the demand on the type of talent that's required by only relying on our higher ed institutions. The process is too slow. By the time it's taught, a lot of times it's already antiquated. Especially when you're talking about high demand skills like software engineering. Like, it's a prime shame that we have some schools that are still teaching the languages that Katherine Johnson was coding in, and they're selling that to students for $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Because the tenured professor doesn't want to go to a coding boot camp and learn a new language. All right? But that's another conversation. So once you have education and skill development, placement is important. Summer internships, apprentices, and early roles. This is how you get people into your ecosystem. This is how you get them into your supply chain. But this is where you have to unleash them to thrive in their creativity. And people from socially disadvantaged communities, particularly those of us who have parents and grandparents who were in civil rights or grew up in Jim Crow, we were socialized to play it very safe. Because if you didn't play it safe, you could get lynched, right? You could get beat, you get raped. I'm going deep, but that's the socialization that has happened in the archetypes of our consciousness that keep us from thriving here. And so we have to understand that when we're creating programs around that. So I'll sort of conclude with this, but as we think about the experience of how do we hack, you know, for the next, 30 minutes or whatever we have left, you know, we pontificated more than we solved the problem. That's what we do with these things anyway. So, But think about, like, as you build an entrepreneurship ecosystem in the region, you may not be the founder, you may not be the investor, but can you be an advisor? Can you be a mentor? Can you amplify somebody's startup? Can you invest through like equity crowdfunding? Can you positively evaluate? Like, I don't know, questions in the room, we just got a grant from the Support Center. I was an evaluator on the grant. So I had the power, you know, of the pen. And so I think that's how you all can participate in this ecosystem, even if you don't see yourself as an entrepreneur. It's incredibly important for everyone to see themselves as a part of this entrepreneurship ecosystem, because it is literally what's fueling our future of work and future of everything. All right, thank you.
Okay.